Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our NIEBS home school. My dear students, hope you are all well by the grace of Almighty Allah. I am Sanjida Rahman, Assistant Teacher of National Ideal English Version School, Day Shift. Today, I am going to take a science class for the student of class 9, and this is our first class for the 2022. And our today's class topic is Chapter 1, Reading Done, Lecture number 1, Term Half Yearly. In today's class, we will discuss Chapter 1, and the name of the chapter is Lessons on Life. In flourishing human civilization, the production of the food, development of medical science, and the protection of existence of all living being is in adverse condition are the challenges of the present century. The role of biology is indispensable in this regard. In this chapter, the definition of the biology, names of its branches, and naming system of organisms are discussed. So, after reading this, we understand that in this chapter, we will learn the definition of the biology, what is the chapter of the biology, how many chapters are in the biology, and name of its branches, and naming system of different organisms. Now, number 1, concept of biology. In nature, we generally find two types of objects, non-living things and living organisms. Those who have life, they are living organisms, and those who have no life, they are non-living things. The characteristics of non-living things are usually discussed in physics and chemistry. Biology is the branch of scientific knowledge concerning life and characteristics of organisms, but it is really difficult to find the very faint line of differences between living and non-living. In fact, physics and chemistry embody the principles of fundamentals of life, even the non-living. So, in order to understand living organism, it is necessary to know about the physical science, physics and chemistry. But it is wrong to think that it is not necessary to study biology if we have knowledge of physical sciences. Rather, life may be considered a complex combination of many non-living things in which some are new characteristics occur. For example, the properties of water do not resemble that of hydrogen and oxygen, so it is made up of these two elements. So, although living organisms are constituted of a specific combination of non-living things, new properties originate in them that do not always resemble that of their non-living components. So, life has two parts. One is in biological science, there are two parts, non-living things and living things, and non-living things are discussed in the physics and chemistry, and living things are discussed in the biological science. So, biology is one of the fundamental branches of the science. The term biology is derived from the Greek words bios, that means life, and logos means knowledge. As biology plays an important role in agriculture and medicine, from the beginning of the civilization, it was practiced in different regions including Greek, Egypt, Middle East, India and China. So, we know that biology has two parts, bios and logos. Bios means life and logos means knowledge. So, biology discussed about the knowledge, life-based knowledge. And however, this practice cannot be considered as science in terms of modern science, but it was necessary then to flourish this branch of knowledge. Now, we will discuss branches of biology. Biology has lots of branches, and in this chapter we will discuss. At first, its branches is divided into two parts. One is physical biology and another is applied biology. In physical biology, there are many sections, and in applied biology, there are also many sections, branches of biology. When we look around us, we see two types of living things, plants and animals. Based on this, for a long time, biology was divided into two branches, botany and zoology. This trend is still in force. However, the field of biology has expanded so much that it is not enough to confine its study to these two branches only. There are many living beings which are neither plants nor animals, such as bacteria, fungi. The classification is not appropriate when analyzing common characteristics of animals, plants, bacteria, fungi, viruses, etc. So, now also biology has been classified into many branches. Considering its aspect, there are also two other divisions of biology, physical biology and applied biology. In physical branch, the investigation on the basis of theory gets more importance than applied side. On the other hand, applied side gets more importance in applied branch. So, biology has two branches, physical biology and applied biology. In physical biology, there are more branches. Physical biology. In the field of the physical biology, theoretical concepts are usually discussed. The following subjects are the general field of its concern. So, in the physical biology, we found morphology, taxonomy, physiology, histology, embryology, cytology, genetics, evolution, ecology, endocrinology and biogeography. Morphology. This deals with the form and structure of organisms. It is usually divided into two branches, external and internal morphology. The external description of the body is called external morphology, and the internal description of the body is called internal morphology. External morphology, like human is different from the animals, and different animals have different structure. Like a blue whale is very big animal, but it live under the water. Elephant is a big animal, but it is living on the land. Its size, its shape is different from a lion, and it is also different from human being. So, it is discussed in the morphology. And also internal description of the body, that means human body's internal parts, internal organs are different from the animals and plants. So, in morphology, here it is discussed the internal and external structure of the living things. Taxonomy. Classification of the organism and related principles are discussed in this branch. In taxonomy, classification of the organism, that means organisms are classified in different sections, and related principles are discussed in this branch. Physiology, this branch of biology deals with the biochemical activities of the different organs of organisms, such as respiration, excretion, photosynthesis, etc. Detailed description of all the physiological process of the organisms is found in it. In the physiological section, it discussed about the reproduction system, it discussed about the respiration and excretion system. Histology. The microscopic structure, arrangement and function of the plant and animal tissues are studied in this subject. Histology discussed about the tissue of plants and animals. Embryology, the branch of biology that discusses the organs of the gametes, the origin of embryo or fertilized egg, the development of embryo, their structure, growth and development. So, in embryology, they discussed about the zygote, gamete, the origin of embryology of fertile egg, their development and their structure, growth, how the embryo grown up, how they get their food and when they bring out. So, it is discussed in the embryology. Cytology, the structure, function and division of an individual cell in a body of the organisms is studied in this branch of biology. So cytology discussed about the cell, how this cell prepare, what are the organs of the cell, and what is the work of this cell. It is discussed in the cytology. Genetics, this branch of biology deals with genes and heredity. That means in genetics it discussed about the DNA, chromosome and RNA. Evolution, the gradual development of life and organism over successive generations on earth is studied in this subject. Ecology, it is the science of the reciprocal relationship between organisms and their environment. So ecology discussed about the environment and the reaction between the environment and the different organisms like plants and animals. Endocrinology, the field of the science that deals with the study of endocrine glands and hormones secreted by them. In endocrinology, they discussed about the hormone and our different kind of endocrine glands like our lacrimal gland, our different kinds of hormonal gland. It discussed in endocrinology section. Biogeography, the branch of the biology that studied the geographical distribution of the organisms and their evolution. It is also related with the classification of earth on the basis of the geographical distribution of the organisms. Like some animals like white bear is living in the Siberia. Some birds are living in the Siberia because they can adapt themselves with the cold weather. A camel lives in the desert places and it is store food and water into its stomach, and it is adapted in this environment. And in our country, like four-footed animals like tiger, deer, lion, they can also live in these places because they can adapt in this environment. If we send cow, goat to Siberia, they cannot live properly because they die because the coldness. But when we bring white bear into our country, they also die because they cannot adapt with this environment. So different animals, different birds, plants grow in the different environment and different places of the world. So in this biogeography, it was discussed about this thing. Now applied biology. Applied subjects related to life are included in this category, and some of them are mentioned below. Paleontology, science of the prehistoric life forms and fossils. In paleontology, it discussed about the fossil and very ancient animals and plants. Biostatistics, science of the statistics of organism. In this section, they make statistics of different organisms. Parasitology, in this section they discussed and analyzes different kinds of parasite in the organisms and diseases caused by them. Fisheries, science dealing with fish, harvesting of the fish, management and conservation of the fish aspects. It was discussed in this section. Entomology, entomology discussed science related to the study of life, merit, demerit and control of insects, including the damage caused by them. Microbiology, science related to virus, bacteria, fungi and other microorganisms. It discussed about them. Agriculture sections is very huge discussion. So in this section they discussed about the concerning agriculture. Medical science, science related to human body, diseases and treatment. In this section we know that this section is very huge amount. It discussed about the human body, different kinds of diseases, its primitive and vaccination and other things. Genetic engineering, science associated with gene, technology and its uses. Biochemistry, science connected to the biochemical process and diseases of organism. Environmental science, science related to the environment. Marine biology, science related to the marine living beings. Forestry, science related to the forest management and conservation of its resources. So in this section it was discussed that how the forest can preserve, how the forest is grown up. About this. Biotechnology, Science associated with the technology of uses of organisms for the benefit of mankind. Pharmacy, science dealing with the technology and industry of medicine. Wildlife, science related to the wild animals. And bioinformatics, biological information based on computer technology, for example information on the analysis of cancer. So here is the branches of biology, physical biology and applied biology, and in the physical biology we found 11th section: morphology, taxonomy, physiology, histology, embryology, cytology, genetics, evolution, ecology, endocrinology and biogeography. And another section is applied biology. Applied biology discuss about how the biology is applied in our regular life, in our everyday life. And their sections are paleontology, biostatistics, parasitology, fisheries, entomology, microbiology, agriculture, medical science, genetic engineering, biochemistry, environmental science, marine biology, forestry, biotechnology, pharmacy, wildlife and bioinformatics. My dear students, I hope you understand today's class. You will read this chapter very attentively at your home and try to find out MCQ from this chapter. Till then, keep well. Assalamu alaikum.